All right, we're at the beginning of February. Let's go see. Oh, here come the ducks. Hello, duckies. Let's go see what's happening in our greenhouse. Wifey's nowhere to be seen. I think she's in there.
Hey.
Alright, what's going on?
Transplanting some plants into bigger pots now.
Bigger pots.
Yeah.
Someone asked about this greenhouse. They said that they were going to build it for their parents. So
Nice.
why don't we highlight some of the features of our greenhouse?
Oh. I kind of wanted to actually talk about it just as a user of it. Okay, so this is the fairly new XL Belrose, not Bella Rose, Belrose greenhouse. And it was a total surprise for my husband because he did not know that I wanted a greenhouse, I don't think.
Hey, what's with this bird here?
Oh. Anyway, focus! Focus. But I did a lot of research for months on greenhouses. And I found when they released this, I was looking at the regular Belrose greenhouse, but it was rather narrow. I looked at the Yardistry greenhouse that sold at Costco, and I went in. But what bothered me was it was too narrow. I knew that I needed something bigger. So everyone who got a greenhouse online was saying how they wish they got a bigger greenhouse. So I just went for it, and it was on sale, and it was about it was like $4,700 when it was on sale, and now I noticed that it's like $1,000 more now. Yeah, I think it was a good purchase. It was in the fall that I purchased it, so maybe that was when it was on sale, because this growing season was coming to a close, so maybe it's a good idea to buy something during that time, but you would have a very short window of time to put it together. But my family and I put it together so that we could use it for the winter, because I told my husband, we are using it this winter. And he was like, oh? And so it's been great. The first thing that I wanted to start, like a lot of people do, I wanted to start seedlings and vegetables in here for the spring. I have been always a slacker, and I've done it later and later and later each year. So now it's kind of motivated me to get started on it much earlier. In fact, I started in January. Maybe that is way too early, but nonetheless, it's just, to me, all an experiment. So I got some lettuces growing over here. So I'm hoping that we can repair and put together some raised beds in time for me to at least put in the lettuces here and some of these broccolis, these mini broccolis here. I have some celery, leaf celery, which is the type of celery, I don't see anything coming up though, which is mostly a very strong flavored celery that is used for cooking, where it's not much of a stalk, but it's the leaves, like parsley, and a very, small stalk, like a very small stem. And I think I like that better because I mostly like the flavor, not the texture of celery. So I planted some here, but I don't seem to be seeing anything right now. I grew some spinach, so I'd like to put those in early in the spring. Then I'm very excited. I got some Malabar spinach, which I grew to great success last year, and it's the kind of spinach that just basically grows on and on and on from one vine, and it's just it's a little slimy in texture though. So I'll just give that to the ducks maybe. Because spinach, you know, that just runs out very quickly. It does its thing and it's gone. Now I'm focused on globe artichokes have grown great in this greenhouse so early in the winter. I gotta water these. And so, and even sunflowers, like this dwarf sunflower has done great. These are all on a 10 by, what is it? Maybe it's a 20 by, no, this is a 20 by 40 something inch grow mat, which I have turned it up, cranked it up to like 80 something degrees or something. And it comes with its own temperature gauge, which is something that I would totally recommend because you want to keep as much control over what you're doing. So that really helped to get these seeds going. Here in pots, I have a Tromboncino squash, and that's a squash that like grows huge like this, and it can be eaten at every stage. And so I like the multi-purposeness of that. So I have that growing, and we'll see how it does off the heat mat. And then I have some moonflowers. I have this vision of beautiful scented night blooming moonflowers all over our ducks pen, and hopefully those could also provide a little shade. I don't know, but it's just something to cover up the ugly duck run. I have parsley, which we can always use, and I have some yacon, which is a tuber. So there's a lot of still winter greens up here. I have rainbow chard, which the ducks love, and my husband loves too. I have arugula. So a lot of winter greens because that's going to grow in colder weather. And I still have room to move around in here. So this Belrose XL greenhouse has really been enjoyable to use and have. There's even enough room that I got this raised planter my husband helped me put together, and I stained it so that it wouldn't look, you know, it would be a little more water or weather resistant and looked a little bit nicer after it's stained. I got this from Amazon, and we put it together, and the greens are growing much bigger in this space. Of course, it's very spaced out. Each of these plants are spaced out more, but they're really starting to take off in this raised bed. So I'm kind of experimenting with a raised bed in here. Because we have a gravel floor, the downside of that is great drainage because we have a lot of water on this property. It's like we're at the bottom of a hill, but I can't grow things right on the ground. Hold on, let me check my stuff. Oh, they stole the lettuce and it's, oh, like they stole the lettuce and it's gone. Oh my God, okay. So, oh, they're upset because they know you're withholding lettuce. Anyway, I grow romaine because my ducks love romaine. Okay, yes, my whole entire life revolves around my ducks. Not really, maybe. And I'm growing some shell peas in here. This is one that just kind of like showed up on our property, and it's the only one that grew. All the other bush beans that I grew have not shown up at all. So it goes to tell you that the freshness of seeds is really important because everything seems to be coming up in here. So a lot of my seeds were too old, I think. But anyway, back to the greenhouse. This has been great. I've been kind of turning it into a she shed greenhouse. That was my concept. I found these great stained glass window pieces. I tried cheaper decals that were totally ridiculous looking, and the image was all stretched out and it just didn't work. So I got actual real stained glass. They're very affordable. So I found these side panels and that matched pretty well, and it just really makes this greenhouse look nice. I have these little pots that I got from Wifey, and they were on sale for like a 4-pack. And then these holders are from IKEA and they're a couple bucks. And I thought it would be so great to have flowers, not just vegetables. So I have some nasturtium, which are, you could start in cooler weather, and they are all doing great in here. They're a dark red. And I have like this, little like kind of, I don't know, cottagey type of things, little bird cage. I think I might put a vining plant in there and hang it. I have some little statuary and things. I have this cloth. I'm so glad I didn't get rid of it. That I got from Arts and Crafts store a long time ago. And then a sign that has to do with women that my husband doesn't seem to understand. He says, this makes no sense. But I think if you're a woman, you'll understand. And it just matches that clock so perfectly. I have a vintage radio. Now I'm kind of regretting I didn't get like a vintagey looking fan, but the fan really made a difference. It seems to be like hardening off the plants by like moving them, like in nature. They say you have to like brush your hands over the lettuce and whatever to kind of replicate the movement of wind. So that fan is plugged in and moves just whatever air is in here around a little bit more. I think air circulation is important. This greenhouse comes with a fan. When the greenhouse goes up to like over 80, over 70 or 80, it kicks in. So it comes with its own little, what do you call that? Thermostat. So I finally plugged it into the thermostat and set it. So it'll kick on when it's like when it becomes 80, because then it's going to get intolerable for a lot of plants in here. What is it, thermostat? Is this a digital?
It's a thermostat.
Thermostat. And it gives you the humidity down here, and it gives you the temperature here, and the max and the minimum, and all of both, which is good. And it actually communicates with an app on his phone, which charts the temperature ups and downs in this greenhouse. And so we were doing some experiments with water barrels and whatnot, and they just took up too much room. And I'm an aesthetic person. I didn't like how it looked, because this is like my little escape, and I don't want a whole bunch of water barrels or painted milk jugs and whatnot. So we have a greenhouse heater by Dr. Heater, and this has been going so strong, and I think it's doing something. So this one I definitely recommend. I got another one which didn't even work. It was just, there was something wrong with it electrically, and I just returned it. But it came with this BioGreen thermostat. Everything is on a thermostat. And this one is definitely the one I would recommend. And it just takes the edge off of the cold enough that most things didn't die. The only things that died were a few tomatoes that I transplanted into these little bigger cups from a cell tray. And one night we had temperatures that were like in the 15 degrees or something, and I lost a few tomato plants, but I have more that survived, and they might have been off the heat mat, that's why. So overall, things are very good. This chair is way too big for this greenhouse, but maybe once we get this thing out of here, maybe just get like a little chair, I think is all you need. And I got some LEDs that look very cute at night, and my husband told me LEDs do not use a lot of electricity, because I was afraid all this is hooked up to one extension cord, so this whole place just catching on fire because of it. But he hooked up this wireless button that turns on my little magical cafe lights on the ceiling. It took me forever to weave those back and forth. but they just make this place really magical, especially at night. So I'm hoping maybe in the summer, when I can get all these plants outside where they'll be happy in the heat and in the summer and the spring, that maybe I could just put a little table here and my family and I could just maybe eat in here, or I could just have more room and that's it. But I see myself using this throughout the whole year, not just the winter. So I think that's a good thing. And if we have the fan on, and it has 4 windows in each corner that can be opened there, and you can open the doors, of course, for ventilation. I think it'll be great. I also have some things that we added, like 2 that didn't come with the greenhouse, just 2 simple like wrought iron look hooks for coats. I got these, and you know what? There's a lot of expensive like iron working pieces, wrought iron pieces online, but I went to Hobby Lobby. They are so cheap there that I got, what is it, 7? Or is it 6? 6 of these bookcase shelf supports. And my husband gave me another row of these cedar planks, so I have another row on this north side. It's not the sunniest side, but I have that on there, and I have the flowers here, and then the 2 decorative shelves that this Belrose greenhouse come with really are just decorative. You put your she shed decor up there. You could put plants up there, certainly, but I use the shelves down here for most of my plantings. The only downside of this is I have a lot of heavy things, and I've noticed that they've started to they've started to slant downward. So whatever the attachment thing is here, which are these supports, and it looks like it would hold it, but everything that I water, the water collects kind of over here toward the front edge, meaning there's definitely a slope, and these things cannot take too much weight. So maybe something else will have to be figured out, like maybe some legs at the corners or something at the end of a row. But I think that's the only, so far, defect of these shelves, these counters. The other Belrose has shelves that could come down, fold down, and that's a good idea, but I'm wondering if that's even less strong than the ones that are like permanently anchored and up like this. If I could have the shelves be folded down, it would give us even more space to just put potted plants in here, planters in here. But I'm definitely using these, the counter shelf space. Maybe a little too much, because I don't think it's very strong because of the, I don't know. I'm a doubter with everything that comes from overseas. Seems to be overall very thin. Much thinner than usually my husband makes things when he makes things. The pieces are much more delicate and thin. So time will tell how long this greenhouse will last without it springing a leak. Springing a leak, snow coming, water's dripping down somewhere. So far, we've had a couple snow falls, and nothing has leaked from the ceiling. It seems to be performing just fine, but time will tell. This is only year 1 of using this greenhouse, so maybe in the future I can report back. But right now we're having a lot of fun. At least I'm having a lot of fun in here, growing a lot of stuff. So Let's see if this will translate to more food being grown on our property, more flowers being grown on our property because of having this greenhouse. So you can see right here, we have some lettuces here in this. This is a little bit of everything I'm growing over here and up here. I have some mini broccoli. I have some beets here. You know, things that are not going to have such super deep roots. So this, what do you call it? Raised planter bed should be deep enough to handle those things. The citrus is faring well in here, even though it got pretty cold this one night. Even the cactus is doing okay. So the Christmas cactus up there. So things are really good. I'm really lucky to be able to have this. And I think I'll be able to use this hopefully for a long time because it has enough adequate space for me to putter around and do a lot of gardening. And it's just a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe year after year I'll switch it up and, you know, change decor and that'll be even more fun.